Chris Biancanello.
Here.
Andrew Buchanan.
Here.
Steph Buff. Kelly McGrath.
Here.
Ben Richardson. Ashley Slobodin. Ryan Williams. Hannah Bentz. Bethany Holtz. Nolan Lynch.
Here.
Eric Miller.
Here.
Jackie Turret. Mark Wolf. Taylor Beck.
Here.
Kevin Bilecki.
Here.
Eden Eglin. Brooke Uchick.
Here.
Kat Crum.
Here.
Nico Papadas. Maya Thomas.
Here.
Kylie Davis.
Here.
Chuck Dico.
Here.
Brianna Egan.
Here.
Caitlin Helmstetter.
Here.
Michael Mancino. Maxine Peskins. Non Pond.
Here.
Bless you. 26 PCG.
Here.
ACM.
Here.
Active Minds.
Here.
Allies.
Here.
APO.
Here.
Asian Student Alliance.
Here.
Autism Speaks. AAUW Club. Biosphere.
Here.
ASU.
Here.
Cheers.
Here.
China Culture Club. Circolo Italiano.
Here.
Civil War Club.
Here.
Class of 2015.
Here.
2016. 2017.
Here.
2018.
Here.
Classics Club.
Here.
College Dem. College Republicans. College Against Cancer.
Here.
Cooking Club.
Here.
Dance Ensemble.
Here.
DCF.
Here.
DTO.
Here.
Film Society.
Here.
Four Scores.
Here.
Free the Slaves. Free Thinker Society. Game Club. GASA.
Here.
Gettysburg or Gburg TV.
Here.
Gecko.
Here.
German Club.
Here.
Gettysburg Student Musical Theater.
Here.
Gospel Choir.
Here.
Habitat for Humanity.
Here.
Interfaith Council.
Here.
International Affairs. International Club.
Here.
Jam Club. Japan Club. Jazz Appreciation Society.
Here.
LASA.
Here.
Law and Justice Society. Lutheran Student Movement. Mock Trial.
Here.
Operation Smile.
Here.
Alan Nightingale.
Here.
Photography Club. Free Health Club.
Here.
Free Vet.
Here.
Rotaract. Sanga. SASA. Shots in the Dark. Ski and Snowboarding Club.
Here.
Slavic Club. Smart Women Security. Spectral Club of Chemists.
Here.
Society of Physics Students.
Here.
STEM. Student Alumni.
Here.
Students for Life.
Here.
Swing Club. Upscale. Young Americans for Liberty. ZUAF Club. Motion to approve minutes from 2 weeks ago.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstentions? They pass. Hi everyone, thanks for coming out on this rainy Monday. Should be a pretty brief but exciting meeting. We have Chief Diversity Officer Dr. Jean Arnold here to talk to us, so we'll have that first. And then we just have some Senate recognition requests, so it'll be pretty brief, as is my officer report. I should let you guys know that the Student Senate is participating in Sigma Chi O Christmas, so we're going to be making gingerbread house and donating to that. So if you guys have any artistic ideas, because I'm kind of useless with that, or would like to donate, please let me know. Steph?
We're pretty much finished up with the budget for this semester. I will have a kind of like a final report for you next week. There won't be any more EMC meetings, but hopefully Amelia and I will be able to work on some wording for the constitutional changes that we want to implement for next week, and then we'll vote on them at the very first meeting next semester.
Me. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving, and as always, if you're not on the agenda, let me know, or on the aliens, whatever. Let me know and I'll add you.
And also, C and I were talking about making new aliases,
Yes.
alii.
So there will be a new alias for next semester. So everyone will be added to that. / if you have friends who graduated in the last 10 years and are still getting the Senate minutes every week, let them know. Do not
Yeah.
be worried. There will be a new day where they won't get them coming soon.
There'll be no more hate. Okay.
Yeah, so hi everyone, I hope you all had a great break. All of those weekly surveys that you guys have been so diligently filling out, it'll pick off. I have the Special Student Senate Recognition Award list right here. This is going to be a ceremony that happens in April, and I'll be emailing this out tonight in addition with the link of the survey. So make sure you check it out. And any feedback, I appreciate it. Thanks guys.
Thank you, Annabelle. Being that that there's no old business, we'll move right into new business and have our Chief Diversity Officer come down.
Well, thanks for having me. My name is Jean Arnold, and I've been here as the Chief Diversity Officer since August 4th. So this week will be my 4-month anniversary. And it's been an exciting 4 months. This is my first time at a small liberal arts college, so I'm getting acclimated to the setting. I've been at a large regional public institution in Michigan for 7 years, doing this same type of work. And before that, I was at the University of Pennsylvania for 12 years. So it's good to move around and learn about different institutional types. But anyway, I'm really excited about the fact that Gettysburg has decided to have a Chief Diversity Officer. I think when an institution decides to do that, it doesn't mean that they weren't serious about diversity before then, but it means they're going to approach diversity and inclusion in a more organized way, in a more strategic way, and in a more proactive way rather than a reactive way. So the messages I've been getting from the search committee, from the president and the provost and faculty, is that they want to see me work on increasing the diversity of students, of the student body, as well as the diversity of faculty. Those seem to be the top priorities. But to do that, we've got to look at a lot of different things. And so I have 3 priorities for this academic year, the remainder of this academic year, and next academic year. And I'm hoping to get some help from all of you in doing some of these things. So the first thing I need to do is develop a plan for the college. Because what happens with diversity work is that people are doing things all over the place and nobody really knows what the other person's doing, and so we need to have some kind of guiding principles and look at things in a similar, not in a similar way, but in a similar order. And so what the research says about diversity plans for colleges and universities is that there's basically 4 areas to look at. So one is access and equity. So we've got to look at everything we're doing in terms of recruitment and retention across the board at the college. We also have to look at our policies to see whether our policies, everything for policies that govern staff, faculty, and students are as inclusive as they can be. So access and equity is a big one. Another area we need to look at is campus climate. So we need to know how everybody feels about living, learning, and working here. So faculty, staff, and students. And to that end, one of my top priorities is to get a committee together, a volunteer committee of staff, faculty, and students to plan and develop a climate survey. So I'm going to put a call out this spring for volunteers, and we're going to work on developing a tool using an outside consultant who I've worked with before. Her name is Sue Rankin. She just retired recently, professor at Penn State, main campus, but she does these scholarship and these surveys as her research and scholarship. So she's going to help us, and it's going to take a full year to develop the survey so that everyone can have input, everybody can trust the methodology and trust the results that we get. So I'll be looking for volunteers, and it's not a commitment. You have to come to 5 meetings. It's whenever you can come in and out of the process. We welcome your ideas and insights to developing the tool. So we're going to start it in this coming spring, and we're going to administer it in the following spring, 2016. So that goes under climate issues. We're taking a look at the climate. Another one is diversity in the curriculum and co-curriculum. So we're going to be looking at everything we're doing. What kind of diverse perspectives are being brought into the curriculum? Is that going across the board in all courses or adjusted in the diversity requirements? We'd like to see a more integrated approach. So that'll be another area. And finally, the last area that we'll be focused on in the plan is called organizational learning. So how do we as faculty, staff, and students become more culturally competent in what we do? And what does culturally competent mean? How do we get more comfortable dealing with people who are different from ourselves? How do we get comfortable? How do we get the best out of that? How do we enjoy those kinds of interactions? And how do we come up with the best thinking and the best products if we're out in the business world? Or the best thinking around papers or activities, academic activities that you're doing here. And how do we learn that? Because in my experience, employers, when you get out of your 4 years or however many years it is before you leave your campus, employers want to know, what is your exposure? What is your experience to working in diverse teams? How do you work well with others who come from different areas, who may have a different perspective, but yet bring something that's valuable? Employers want to know that students have been exposed to that. And so if we don't start doing even a better job of that here, we'll be doing all of you a disservice as you try to go on to graduate school, you try to go out there and find employment. People want to know that you haven't had a homogeneous experience. And so to that end, we're going to look at tools to help us all become more culturally competent. One thing that you'll be hearing about, and I hope that some of you will be interested in participating in it, one of the tools we are going to use is called the Intercultural Competence Inventory. It's called the IDI. Survey. You sit at your computer privately and take it, What it does is ask you questions about your life experience. What have you done? Where have you been? What kinds of experiences have you had? And from that, it will plot out where you are on a graph in terms of your own cultural competence journey. So from denial, I think everybody's the same, there's no differences, we're all human beings, that's one perspective, that's at this end of the scale. At the other end of the scale is adaptation, which means I've developed a certain level of comfort in interacting with people different from myself. And you can be anywhere in between those two things. So what this survey will tell you though, not only where you are, but where you think you are. And all of us as human beings always think we are further along in our development, myself included, and even though I do this work every day, we all think we're further along and better at things than we actually are. And so this survey is great because it shows you where you actually are, where you think you are, where you actually are, but it gives you a plan for how to move along this scale if you choose to. So whatever stage you're at is going to give you a set of activities that you can make your own personal plan, totally privately, if you choose to do that. So this is something we're going to start rolling out this spring for faculty, staff, and students, totally voluntary. There's no pressure, there's no mandatory anything about it. But what I have found when I've used this at other institutions, when people take it, they find it immediately useful to their day-to-day. They gain insights about themselves. If they're faculty, they learn how to interact with their students better. So people generally start telling their friends and colleagues about it once they've taken it, and it kind of takes off like that. So my next step is really to get some other people trained. I'm one of the few people on campus trained to do it, because once you take the survey, somebody has to sit down with you for a half hour and talk about the results and interpret that and help you with a plan if you're interested. So I'm going to try to get maybe 20 people or so trained on the campus to be able to do it and start doing it this spring. So that's just one of many things we'll be using. So we're going to do the plan, we're going to do the climate study, and we're going to start rolling out this intercultural development inventory. And that's enough for a couple academic years, to get those things done. That's going to take some time. The thing about diversity and inclusion work is that it's not a short-term endeavor, that you really have to commit to it and make a plan and work on it kind of indefinitely and see how things continue to get better over time, or if they do. That's why we're going to do the climate study in 2016, and then we're going to repeat it every 5 years with a core of the same set of questions, so we can see if we are doing better at the things that are brought to our attention. So we've got to kind of judge our own progress on that. So I hope that either as a group, a student senate, or some other subsections, or other student groups, that you'll think about taking the IDI once it becomes available, and use it. We hope that it will make this, Gettysburg as a college start feeling like even more welcoming. It is a welcoming place, but we want to become more welcoming, and we want some of our knowledge to spill out into the community beyond the campus. So my experience again elsewhere was, once we started doing it on campus for a couple of years, we started getting calls from community agencies, the United Way, the YWCA, health concerns, and departments out there saying, we hear you have knowledge, you have something that you're using that's really making your students and your faculty and staff more culturally competent. We want that for our employees. And so we then started doing it out in the community, which means hopefully where people are living out in the community, it becomes eventually over time a more welcoming place. So we see a lot of uses for the IDI on campus as well as off campus. So I'd really like to know, I'm not going to talk too much longer, I would like to know though if there's anything you want to bring to my attention that you think are things I ought to be focused on as an GTO scholar. So this plan that I'm developing, a draft will come out in probably February, and I'm basing that on conversations I'm having all over campus with faculty, staff, and students to find out, what do you think we need to be working on? So at this point, I'm meeting with every faculty member, every tenure track faculty member individually, so it's about 230 people. I'm just about there, probably early January, I will have completed that. And then I'm having, of course, to do students in groups. I can't, as much as I would like to, meet with people individually if they'd like to do that. I really can't time-wise. So I'm going before groups of students to say, what do you want? What do you think? In those categories I mentioned, access and equity, campus climate, organizational learning, diversity in the curriculum and co-curriculum. Are there things right now that you want to let me know that we need to focus on? So I'll just stop for a minute and say, I'll write it down. I'm going to write it down if you have any ideas for me. Anything? Things you've experienced yourself, seen, heard, observed, that you think I should know about?
This is more of a follow-up question, but I'd be interested to hear about the role of peer facilitation or development within the students for your plan, especially with the intercultural development inventory. You mentioned facilitation. Would that be on a peer level, or do you have to have qualification?
Well, you do have to go through a 2.5-day training, and I'm in the process of contacting contacting the developers of this tool to find out if students can
Okay.
become trained. If they can, with the program, absolutely, they would have students trained. Otherwise, there'll be other tools, and there are some other tools out there that are more frequently used in classrooms, like pre and post test. So you might be taking a course that has something to do with diversity, but at the beginning of the course, you might take this particular instrument, not the one I'm talking about, but another instrument, and then at the end of the course, take it again to see what kind of things you learn or how you develop differently. So yeah, so either way, if not this one as a trainer, perhaps a different one. But I would definitely want students involved. And want your input that you're all, you all are the reason we're here. So if we're not checking in with you about what you think is important, then we're not really doing our jobs. So any comments or thoughts about what I should be focused on? Yes.
I think it's important not just to look at diversity as like race and ethnicity and sexual orientation, but also I know here there's kind of like not a really good understanding of people with from other socioeconomic backgrounds.
Okay.
And so I think that's a really good thing to maybe have conversations about.
Okay.
Professors make certain assumptions about the background that you come from.
Okay.
And things like that that could be helpful.
Okay. I'm gonna make it a point to, when we're working on a website or webpage, my one-person office here, myself and my assistant, we're working on a website, and we're gonna define diversity, and we're gonna define it as broadly as possible, to include what you just mentioned, class issues, but there's, all aspects of diversity, disabilities, students with disabilities, religious differences, you name it, geographic diversity. We're not leaving anything out. So I don't see this as, diversity is only this. It's really the concept that anyone who is qualified to be here should be able to come here into this environment, not leave their identity checked at the door and assimilate and be like everybody else, but be who they are and really thrive in this environment. So that's everybody. And so I'm going to make a point that, and I will include that in the definition. So people say, what do you mean by diversity? And what do you mean by inclusion? We're going to get a little glossary going so that we're all talking the same language. Yes.
Maybe just addressing what microaggressions are.
Okay.
So sometimes people say things that they don't realize are offensive.
Yes.
And so even though you may not realize it's offensive, if
Uh-huh.
you sit down and think about the grand scheme of things,
Mhm.
what you're generally saying, the big picture, sometimes it can be.
Okay, good idea. And I've done at my previous institution some trainings on that. And that's something we could probably have, the diversity peer educators do some training on. I mean, it doesn't have to be, me doing it or, faculty or staff doing it. That could certainly be a peer-to-peer. So there's some good training out there on that.
And kind of some research and experience that I've had, a lot of times these programs are really successful in bringing diversity into a school. Kind of what are your ideas or what programs do you plan to implement when the diversity is already here to kind of spread it within kind of Gettysburg College? Changing
Diversity of
necessary-
students?
Yes, exactly.
Well, in my experience, it's attracting diverse populations is the easy part.
Mhm.
I mean, keeping them, and not having a revolving door is the thing. So it's hard for me to say what's going to be the solution at Gettysburg right now, but that's why I really want to do the climate study, because we're going to get very specific information from there about what it feels like for everybody from all the backgrounds that we have here, about what it feels like to live and learn here. And so I know there are going to be some specifics that we can do better. And part of what Sue Rankin does in her service, as this kind of help to develop this survey, is that she's going to give us a set of recommendations. She's going to scrub the data. She's going to give us a set of recommendations, and then we'll still have the raw data we can go into further. But she's going to, and the good thing about her is, since she does this all over the country, we're going to be able to compare ourselves to other institutions across the country. So we'll know, we might think, oh, we're doing pretty good in this area, but then we look and think, oh, well, we're really not doing that well, or we're doing better than some other areas. So typical things, I can't speak to Gettysburg yet because I don't know, but typical things that you might hear about that impact whether people stay in an environment, what the interactions are like between students and their professors. Do they feel like their opinions are valued and they get to really be a participant in the class? Do they feel like they're being treated fairly? And then the microaggressions concept, what does it feel like if I'm going across campus every day and I'm overhearing remarks about either some people who are different or myself who may be different in some way, or people are joking about that sort of thing. Those little things impact how a person feels in an environment. So that's why we have to look at how we relate to one another, and in addition to what our policies are and our practices are. So, but I'm sure there's going to be some specifics that come out there at Gettysburg. I have no idea, what they're going to be. I'm learning a lot from faculty and what some of their experience are, like even some faculty of color, some women faculty who have told me some stories that, we've got some issues to address about how they're being treated differently and not equitably in their own departments. And they're, PhDs, tenured professors. So if things are not quite as they should be in every place like that, then I know that on the student level, there's probably some things. So, but these individual conversations are so helpful. So I really, as much as I said I can't meet with every student, and I really can't, if there's anyone in here who after this, tonight wants to sit down and share some things with me individually, I would love to sit down with you. And I have sat down with several students. I make that offer every time I speak to students, and now students are stopping me on campus saying, did you really mean that? Can I really make an appointment? Yes, you can. And I am on the second floor of Penn Hall. And if you type my name in, it'll come up on your email. So I'll know more once we do the climate study. And we will specifically implement things to address the specific concerns of students who have been here. And somebody's asked me to think about including alumni too, to see what their experiences were like. So I'm thinking about, and I'll talk to Sue Rankin about, can we include alumni in the survey to see, recent ones maybe, last 5 years or something like that, to see what their experiences were like and see what things would have made it better for them.
One other thing I would say, I think like Gettysburg has a very great culture that I think hasn't changed for a very long time, which has its ups and downs. But I think it's really hard to change the feel on campus in terms of diversity without looking at great organizations and how
I've heard that a
they
few
are and
times.
things like that.
Yeah, I've heard that. There's, big varying opinions. And I'm Greek, from my undergrad days. So, I'm a believer in the system that I was a part of. But, there's pros and cons, certainly. And I'm listening to all of that. I'm listening. I have not come to any conclusions, not trying to make any judgments about that. But I'm certainly, it's been brought up to me several times by, faculty, staff, and students, pros and cons, about the Greek system. So we do have to scan our entire environment and see how the combination of what we do and how we do it impacts our students. First and foremost, but also how it impacts faculty and staff. So we're going to look at everything in a kind of a systematic way. But in terms of your, reference to changing the culture, and that generally, and I'm not talking about any particular part like Greek life or non-Greek life, but anytime, and the research supports this, anytime an institution makes an effort to move forward and change its culture, you're talking about a minimum of 5 to 7 years of concentrated effort. And that doesn't mean you can stop after the 5 to 7. You keep going. It's really a forever thing. You want to continue to get better. So this is not an overnight thing. That doesn't mean, though, that we can't have, visible, incremental, positive things happening along the way. But to really feel different, to be different consistently, it takes a long time. So you have to be in for the long haul. And some of you will be graduated. Some of you say, well, I won't even be here. But, give your input while you're here so that we can use your ideas to make things better. And to those alumni, I've talked to a few alumni who didn't have such a great experience, some alumni of color. And I said, well, you know what? We're kind of on a different tangent now. We're doing some things differently. We're looking at how we're doing things. Why don't you join with us and working on some of those things and engage with some of our students here currently. And so, be a part of the change, that you would have wanted to see when you were here. And so there's really something for all of us to do. As a one-person office, what can I do by myself? Not much. I've really got to have folks who are willing to work with me. My previous institution, which was a much bigger, 24,000 students, I had an 11-person office doing this work with me every day, full-time. Here, and this is how small liberal arts colleges do it, kind of on a one-person model. But that takes a lot more cooperation, and I've got to have a lot more partners, to do it. So our progress, we're dependent on each other for the progress that we will make. So I can have a whole bunch of great ideas, or you may have some great ideas, but if we don't work together on it, we're not going to have any progress. But I'm excited at this point. I have a lot of confidence that we're going to be able to make some changes here. And that we'll, once this plan comes out, we'll be on a steady path to the future to do that. So again, please track me down, stop me if you see me on campus. I'd love to talk with you individually if you have the time to do that. I want to share some things that you might not want to share in the group. But I'm always open. I do, email me. I can't be out there in all these places, but I love to, still know when things are brewing or people have, some negative going on or some good stuff going on. We don't always, tell the good stuff either. When there's good stories to tell, we're not always good about communicating that and the successes that are going here. So I want to do both. And I want everything that we do around diversity and inclusion to be totally transparent. So we had this climate study, and people are saying, oh, you're not going to publish the real results. Yes, we are. And it's going to be up on the website. We're not hiding anything. There's no institution that doesn't have something to work on. So we're going to put it out there for everybody to see, and then we're going to, proceed to work on it. So there'll be total transparency. That's a promise from me. And so that's how we're going to, approach this whole thing. But I'm excited. I came here. I want to wanted to get back towards Philadelphia. That is where I'm from, so it's a chance for me to get back to the East Coast. But I wasn't just going to go anywhere. You know, I was going to go to an institution only with a, you know, an excellent reputation and an institution that's serious about getting into the sport. Because this is something I've kind of devoted my whole, you know, career to. I'm a social worker. Just, I consider what I'm doing to be a continuation of that. I'm still doing social work in this role. And so I only want to go where people are serious about making change kind of from the inside out. Otherwise, you know, I'd still be in Michigan in the 21 inches or whatever that's out there right now. But I think we're going to do some good things together. So any last comments or thoughts? Let's get on. All right, I appreciate I'm writing these things down as soon as I get out because my memory's not that good. And I'll just look forward to getting to know you better and to talking to some of you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Up next, we'll have Friend or Foe Club for some recognition.
Hello everyone, my name is Martha Haggerty.
And I'm Emma Reaver.
And I am the founder of Friend or Foe, and Emma is a very active member in the organization. So basically, Friend or Foe seeks to create a supportive but also social space for students who identify as LGBTQA. For those of you who might not be familiar with the acronym, that's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, etc. Very long list. And essentially, to kind of give you a backstory on the club, I served on several panels speaking about LGBTQ experiences. I've been speaking on them since my sophomore year. As a result of that, in the past couple of years, I've had several students who have approached me and felt comfortable confiding me and actually came out to talk about some of their struggles being queer identified on Gettysburg's campus. And one thing that arose from every single conversation with these students was the fact that they really didn't feel like they had a resource on campus to be in a more supportive environment, but also one where they could just connect with people in the same boat. They certainly were proud of their identity, but definitely weren't necessarily consumed by it. They didn't think that that identity defined them as much, and they had, as a result, a lot of trouble finding other people in the same boat because not everybody is necessarily as vocal about their identity. Many people might be more secretive about it, etc. So I came up with this idea along with a few other students who had come talk to me to try and create a club where people could find that sort of community because there were a lot of students who felt isolated. A lot of them had attempted to go to Allies Club, which is a great organization geared towards making change, and they found that while it was very helpful in looking at the bigger picture, they wanted more of a space where they could have just individual discussions and more personalized things in a more laid-back setting where it was a little bit less bigger picture, activist oriented, and more just personal experiences and connecting to other people. So we really hope to find Senate recognition because we really want to reach out to more students who are really struggling with opportunities to meet other people who are like them and just have a place where people get it. We also really wanted to create a place where straight allies and friends feel comfortable asking the questions that, you know, topics that they're not super familiar with. A space that's really safe for both parties so that we can foster a lot more kind of understanding on campus and just create another outlet for students who might be struggling. So by being Senate recognized, we would really have that opportunity to be more out there and let students who are coming in, maybe current students, know that we're here for them. And if we were to be Senate recognized, we would really be, most of our budget priority would be maybe on co-sponsoring events with other clubs to really get the name out there, such as Allies Club, as well as Greek organizations perhaps, and educational events, a way to really bridge the gap between a lot of these communities. And in addition to that, there wouldn't be many expenses, essentially small trips, transportation, things, perhaps there would be conferences or different LGBTQ, educational opportunities happening where we can transport students to, experience more of that.
Yeah, no, like the name suggested is Friend or Foe. Would you like to explain Friend or Foe?
Sure. So, friend is a reference to the heterosexual or cisgender supporters of the LGBTQA community. Basically, anyone who might not necessarily identify as queer but is a supporter of that. So we wanted to make that known. And FOE is actually an acronym. So FOE stands stand for Friend of Ellen, as in Ellen DeGeneres, which is a reference to lesbians. Friend of Elton, which is a reference to Elton John. And Friend of Evan Rachel Wood, so it could include the bisexual name. Yeah. And although, there's certainly several more letters out there than just those 3 identities, we're trying to use FO as an umbrella term. So it's inclusive of those 2 communities. Together.
Yeah, and through this club, I really have found kind of a home for myself as a friend because I, like Martha, have had people come out to me, and I am experiencing a lot, whether it's talking to staff that is involved and professors that are involved, which has been really helpful, or just knowing more people on campus so that I can refer to my friends if they're ever having problems, or just getting to know a lot more people, which has been really nice, and asking those questions that Martha was talking about. So I really like the social space of it. It has done a lot of just getting the people together and adding a little bit of a different club to campus, some of that diversity, which is really nice to tie that in. I would love to see this club on this campus for when we graduate.
Do we have any questions for Friend or Foe?
You said that when you graduate, I guess that you're both either juniors or seniors. So there's going to be a time of transition coming up, within the next year. How many club members do you have, and are there, younger club members?
Currently, we have between 12 and 14 regular attending members. While we do have a significant portion of seniors, we actually have several juniors who will be either returning from abroad or just starting to get involved with the club. We're on our way to try and recruit more first years, putting the posters out for first year winners, etc. And we actually do have 2 juniors who are abroad who really helped spearhead this whole experience last year. They're actually 2 of the individuals who came out with it. And we hope that through becoming Senate recognized, can establish a real structured exec board, and then they can continue on the tradition. So I would say there's about half seniors in the club currently, but hopefully through the juniors, perhaps some Senate recognition to build up our membership a bit more.
Motion to grant Senate recognition.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstentions? Congratulations. Okay, so we're going to move on to College Debate Society.
So I'm Thomas Clement.
And I'm Rachel Lochner,
We represent Gettysburg College Debate Society, of which I'm the president.
and I'm the Senate representative.
So our mission, idea, everything is basically trifold in nature. First and foremost, next semester we have a competitive APDA debate team. APDA debate is the American Parliamentary Debate Association, which is 2-on-2 debates in an intergalactic format with all different colleges in the area. The second 2 prongs of our three component plan, I think are the most interesting, is that we provide a weekly outlet or a place where you can go to talk at a high level about lots of different topics, everything from politics to science, philosophy, really anything. A place that would foster a higher level of discussion between people who are interested in talking rhetorically about lots of different issues. And third, it actually provides a place for people who have no speaking experience. I mean, never did debate, never did anything along those lines, a place where you can come because you want to get better at public speaking, you want to practice your public speaking, you want to go into the working world because you're a senior or junior and you're worried about your interviews. This kind of club is both for new people and for very experienced people, and a place where the experienced people can help the newer people. It's just practice. Anyone can speak publicly very, very well. It just takes practice and building your comfort levels. That's kind of what this club is for going forwards. So with Senate recognition, we could formally compete on the APDA circuit, which is of course great. Our budget would be fairly straightforward. We would need money for tournaments down the line, but most of that would be self-funded by the club. So we'd really not be that much of a burden, economically speaking. And it would also let us get our message out there more effectively, since I think public speaking practice as well as formal debate training is something that's present on this campus but could be better suited to and make it more approachable. There's some mock trial in NIA, while they're very competitive institutions, can be a little intimidating to people who have no experience whatsoever. And our idea is we welcome anyone, no matter what. You could have a massive lisp. I had a lisp. It's no problem. You can work from anything. So yeah.
And we're different from those other clubs, as Tom was stating, because lots of the mock UN and mock trial, they have like a very specific purpose. Like mock trial is very law centered, whereas in debate, as you mentioned, we talk about all different types of topics. You can talk about any current event. You can talk about what is the most superior fruit. It just gets people talking, and it gets them comfortable speaking in a public scene.
Do you have any questions for debate society? Sorry.
How many active members do you have?
Anywhere from 15 to 20.
This is kind of an odd question, but when I was a sophomore, there was a strong Toastmasters presence on campus, and I know a couple professors always trying to like spearhead that in the fall. So I don't know if that's like a resource that you guys want to look into as well. Just putting it out there. There has been some resources through like just public speaking for them. It sounds like a great outlet. Okay.
Motion to grant Senate recognition.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, congratulations. Last but not least, the Gettysburg Anti-Capitalist Collective for Senate recognition.
So I'm Ian, I'm the current president. This is Betsy, who's the current treasurer. Doesn't get it now. So basically, the purpose of us forming this club was just to sort of expand the realm of political discourse on campus. Because, I mean, we just all noticed, sort of going through our time at Gettysburg, that there were a fair amount of students who expressed some sort of anti-capitalist meanings, but yet all the political groups on campus are from capitalist ideologies. The Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, we're all capitalist groups, so there's nowhere where we really fit. So we just wanted to sort of create a space for students with more left-wing ideologies to sort of have a space for discussion and activism.
Yeah. So like we have weekly meetings, which are Mondays at 8 o'clock, in Black Lecture 104, where we just kind of talk about maybe some recent events happening related to anti-capitalists and maybe future events that we want to hold with the whole campus. And we have about we have 8 people coming generally to every meeting, but then when we hold events, we can have up to 25 people attend an event. So we have a pretty big presence, I guess, on campus.
I mean, we've already done a few events with other groups on campus and by ourselves. We put on a concert and workshop with the help of Allies House, Public Policy House, Gecko, and the Office of LGBTQ Advocacy and Education. A month ago, 2 months ago?
It was 2 months ago.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, but basically any money we'd be requesting would go to things similar to like that event, to bring in like speakers or performers, or just for our discussions. Like last time we had a sort of open discussion, we paid for food out of our pocket, which would be nice if we didn't have to. And then possibly for like transport or something, if any events that we want to come up.
Occasionally for movie rights as well. One of the events we had discussed hosting this semester was a screening of the film Snowpiercer, which is a fairly anti-capitalist science fiction film, but Film Society, it didn't work out, I guess, but we don't have $250 for movie rights currently, so help us out with that.
Great. Do you have any questions for Anti-Capitalist Collective?
Yeah, I have a question. So it sounds, I mean, it's anti-capitalist, but it seems like we're gonna be asking for a lot of money. I mean, it kind of seems counterintuitive to me.
I mean, we live in a capitalist society. We have to use money. It's not really up to us. We don't really have the opportunity to. I mean, that's kind of the whole point. We don't have the opportunity to sort of live our lives the way we want to because we're sort of stuck in this hegemonic capitalist system.
Yeah.
Just a point of clarification, anti-capitalist, that means that the membership is a broad range of other ideologies, correct? Not just one, like I'm thinking communist, but
as a we sort of usually use the term libertarian socialist just because it's a somewhat umbrella term. There's quite a bit of variation as to what the individual members identify with.
Even the core members that started the group have very different ideologies. So you're welcome.
Motion to grant recognition.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Abstentions? Okay. Congratulations. We'll go into committee reports. Oh, I read off. Mark, anything for academic affairs?
Not really.
Okay. Anthony? No. All right. Jackie, Nolan, thoughts? Steph, IT? Okay. Steve, PR?
Yeah, no.
We don't have anything. Logan? All right. Alright, well,
We were safe.
yeah, right. Heather, do you have anything for sustainability?
Yeah, just real quick, I wanted to let you guys know an update on the car share program. We are gonna have a meeting with Enterprise representative, this Wednesday to talk about what we might be able to do, with that company. And then next week we'll have a meeting with Zipcar company, to do the same sort of thing. We'll compare them and then hopefully get a program started.
Oh, great update. Thank you. Any club reports or announcements? Yeah.
So this Friday, Gettysburg African Students Association is going to have Portland Blackfield lunch. So if you want to come try out some African food stuff, it's free and it's open to everybody. So come try some.
Thank you.
I just wanted to let everyone know that the pre-vet club this week will be in the Cub from 11 to 1, taking orders for holiday dog and cat treats, and this is a fundraiser for trap neuter release, which has the goal to control the feral cat populations, and we're currently working in Benderville and doing that. So it's a great organization to come and order cat milk.
Thank you.
Just some events that CAB is doing this weekend. On Thursday, there's an Attic Week Night, which is a concert with Don Clemens. It's supposed to be really good. Friday night is Bingo at 9 in the ballroom. So I'm excited. We have 150 dozen things for you guys. So yeah, be excited. And the prizes are awesome. And then on Saturday, there's a trip to New York City for the day. You leave at 6:15, and then you leave from New York at 7:30 at night. And there's no Broadway trip this time, but you can do whatever you want. So we're still
Thank you so much. And then we have one, yeah, we have two in the back, so we'll go you first.
So I talk about workforce a lot of times. I mean, you guys pretty much know everything. So tickets are gonna continue to be on sale from 4 to 6 every day until the event, and you guys can also purchase the tickets at the door. So it's a really cool show. Like I show everything, so it's pretty much, and I stress every single time that's not gonna be all Asian. So that's awesome. Make sure you guys come support us. Everything goes to Hope International. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next one.
Four Scores is having their winter concert this Sunday at 3 in Klein. It's free, and we're singing songs like from Maroon 5, Sam Smith, One Republic, stuff like that. It's gonna be a lot of fun, so try to make it. Thanks.
The Gettysburg Gospel Choir is having their Tis the Season concert this Thursday at 6 o'clock in the Junction. It's free. Come and support. Also, the Black Student is having very meeting tomorrow in Diamond Ball 209. We're talking about the Ferguson case and the big piece of discussion come out.
Thank you. Any other? Yeah.
Can the freshman senators stay about 5 minutes after as we discussed about the Twilight Game?
Great.
Just going off of Waco, the prize prizes include a 50-inch flat screen, iPad minis, Keurig's GoPro, and over $400 in